It's a gift from Roland, which is like, have a secret, have a secret that I'll never know.
Okay, so starting with episode 1, Lestat is an extension of Louis. We've talked a bit before about what that was like to film and how Roland helped you understand the vision of it all and stuff, but what was your actual process for developing that version of the character, and how was Jacob involved?
When I first read it, I was kind of pissed because I didn't think that Lestat should be there at all, really. And I wasn't really sure how this was going to work. But the more that I spoke to Roland about it, the more we kind of discovered that it was going to be a way for Louis to have a soliloquy, for the way for Jacob to be able to kind of get further into his internal dialogue, so he could analyze himself. I mean, particularly that scene when they're looking at the photograph, and Lestat and Louis are analyzing his piece of art, I think is the real key to that Lestat character. And it's about having somebody you trust and who you love to be able to kind of show you your real self. But the key for me was mostly about going, okay, if we're going to do that, then what's the character that he can't ignore? What's the one that keeps coming back? It's not going to be the one going, annoying him or shouting at him or telling, or love bombing him or being this character that we were so kind of oppressed by in the first season. It's got to be a different version. And that's why I say, okay, let's go back to the book and talk about those softer, quieter moments that we know that he left out from the adaptation, from the novel in the first season, first book, yeah.
Yeah, and jumping to episode 3, the flashbacks in that scene are through Armand's point of view and are relatively brief, but even with those few minutes you had, what did you and Joseph Potter want to make sure was clear in Lestat and Nikki's relationship, and then the same for you and Assad with Armand?
Yeah, okay, so I don't necessarily think any real dynamic that is true was represented in the Lestat and Nikki from what we saw. So I think it was more important about looking at Armand's point of view. Now, whether or not it's true or not is, that's up for debate. But I personally didn't, and with us working with Joe, we didn't think it was valuable to delve into trying to portray the truth popping out through Armand's point of view. More importantly, these are characters that need to be put in line by Armand. And so it's more about being this sort of haughty, horsey kind of Lestat. I saw him more as the swashbuckling kind of romance novel version of him, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then in episode 5, Luke Brandon Field told me that you were in the room when you were recording your lines in the Armand call, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so why did you want to be in person for that and paint a picture of what filming that looked like?
Well, I think we're always there, when you're off camera. You always got to be present for, we're a big, collaborative show. We work together. It's important. And I think it was valuable for Jacob and for Assad, actually, for me to be there to help with the flow of the scene. So, I think it's... And that's what you hear is me there. We recorded it live, and then I wanted to redo it in ADR once I heard it, because I thought, but Roland was like, no. So he gets very attached to the real thing. So yeah, we don't do a lot of ADR.
And you weren't in costume for it, right? You were just in regular clothes.
Yeah.
It was just you standing next to the camera kind of thing.
We shot episode 5 first in the whole season, so that was my first day of work. Yeah, so I'd just gotten off the plane, basically.
Nice. And then episode 6, you, Jacob, and Roland have all said that episode 6 is a personal favorite for you because of Claudia and Madeline's story. Could you expand on why you love it so much?
I just think their chemistry is so extraordinary. I think Roxanne and Delaney are so, explosive together, and so beautiful, and it's so touching to see a relationship in the show that feels like they really genuinely, want the absolute best for each other. Whereas I think all of the other relationships don't mind seeing the other one suffer a little bit.
Episode 7, the writers were very careful to make clear that Lestat like fully owns the abuse that he put Louis through in season 1, episode 5, when they revisit that in the trial.
Yeah.
He says like he thought of this often when in the coffin that they left him in, right? So in your mind, how did Lestat reach that point of contrition?
Oh, so I think he had reached that pretty quickly. Like, not, you know, he woke up. You know, I think he'd reached that when he was being killed. To be honest, you know, like I think he knew he had gone that far when he sees that Louis picking up the knife and he's going to kill him. I mean, I think that, and you have to remember that Lestat has to allow Louis to kill him to actually die. You know, so we're playing with that sort of level of power. So I think he's aware. To get him to the point to actually say it to Louis, I think it has to be the culminant. This is not the situation in which he wanted to say it. It's not the trial. He didn't come back to do a big play to say sorry. You know, that would have happened privately, and it would have been, you know, I think the absolute chaos of the moment and seeing the world that he built, and the prison essentially that he's put them all in, including himself, through this world that he's built with, you know, Nikki and Armand, you know, leads him to kind of like, you know, regurgitating his true feelings. Yeah.
Is it hard to go back and watch episode 7? Have you gone back and watched it?
Not for a very long time, yeah, no.
And then the finale, it was, of course, written into the finale that you and Jacob would say things to each other in character that only you would know.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you and Jacob to be given that opportunity to put your personal stamp on your characters without writing to guide you?
I mean, you don't hear what we say, so it's not that much trust, because if it was that much trust, you'd probably hear it. But I think what it is it's a gift from Roland, which is like, have a secret, you know, have a secret that I'll never know, so that you can make choices, so we can continue to make choices, because we know things about these characters that Roland Jones will never know. And I think that's a real gift, because it means that we get more and more sort of agency and can invest more in the game of the play, of the show, of the film, of the television series.
The Rockstar Lestat teaser that you debuted at Comic-Con, how did the concept for that come together, and how fun was it to film all of those melodramatic Lestat crash outs?
It was pretty chaotic. I don't know if I should say this, but it was actually our second attempt at it. We had shot one before in Prague, and Roland and I both felt like it was totally off, because we had no idea what we were doing, and we were just messing around. And then we decided to do another one, and it was equally rushed and off the cuff and no idea what we were doing. And he just kept going like, now cry, now laugh, like do this. So why don't we try this? Why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? So it was very much like, you're really seeing in that teaser like a rehearsal where we're all just kind of like finding our feet, which, you know, there's nothing like a bit of pressure to try and work something out. We've had a lot more time now.